Maria, you open the class.
Wow.
Good night, sir. You come early.
Okay.
All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yes, people are not responding and not understanding. Everybody's so silent.
So I guess everybody's watching the news.
Oh, the 8 o'clock news.
No, it's 7 o'clock, sir.
Oh yeah, 7 o'clock, I mean 7 o'clock. All right, so I'll
Yeah.
give you a moment to watch the news and we come back at 7:15 or something thereabout. I assume the news would have been over by now for us to move back to some sense of normalcy. I realize that there's a lot of interest, public interest, in the death of the controversial pastor. Do I have your individual attention? I'm sure TVJ would have, gone to a break by now. Good evening.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Good evening,
Evening.
sir.
All
Hi,
right.
sir.
Sir.
Yes, finally. All right, so I should have everybody's attention. All right, so today you're supposed to do some, I put you in groups and you're supposed to do the presentation. I think I asked you to identify a particular speech, share screen and do some explanation. Let me just get just to remind myself about the group members, persons who are in the same group. I think I took a screenshot of it. I don't even think, no, that's when I pray to God I didn't delete it. I don't think so. All right, so Wong Su, go ahead for me. You and group members, go ahead for me.
Sir, I am kind of in some noise, so in the
The
next
persons who are
10
in your
minutes,
group, the persons who
I'm
are in
not
your group.
parts. I'm only seeing parts. I'm not seeing Oran or Terry and Daly.
Okay, all right. All right, Georgette Richards, go ahead for me with your group.
Sir, can I send the link to you, please? Because it's really not loading on computer for some strange reason.
You can share it in the, yes, you can send the link. Easiest way is via WhatsApp.
Sent it, sir.
Okay. Were you sent it in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me refresh. I'm not seeing anything. You sure you sent it?
Yeah, sir, it has 2 ticks.
Can you share it in the chat? Probably I'll see it there.
All right. Sharing in the chat. There you go, sir.
All right, let's see.
Sir,
Yes.
before you play, just apologizing for Natalia Watson. She won't be here tonight because the police that died is one of her mate. So
Okay.
she'll be absent for today.
Okay. Express our condolences to her on my behalf. All right. All right. So let's. So I play the video first, right? And then you guys will do the explanation.
Correct, sir.
Okay. All right.
This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. Secondly, in your life's blueprint, you must have, as a basic principle, the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. Once you discover what it will be, set out to do it, and to do it well. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. Finally, in your life's blueprint must be a commitment to the eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice. Well, life for none of us has been a crystal staff, but we must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but by all means, keep moving.
We're listening.
Well, you may start.
Somebody's supposed to start?
Yes, sir.
Who's the person?
Kemish,
Is she on?
she's to speak on the purpose of
Yeah.
the speech.
Yes.
I'm here.
You're
supposed to go.
So the purpose of the speech.
So first you say good night, everybody, or good evening, everybody.
Good night,
Yes.
everybody. The purpose of the speech, well, he was actually talking to the
So
graduating
hold on.
class.
This is not, hold on. We need to know, so first of all, you need to say, okay, my name is X and Y, I'm a part of the group, and the group members are da 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 da. And we chose the speech by whoever the speech was about, blah, blah. That's how you do it. All right, so we then come again.
All right. Good night. My name is Kemisha Waugh. My group members are Renee, Jarjet, and I remember no more. Anyways, we pick the motivational speech from
From, we're listening. Georgia, what's happening? Hello, what's happening with this group?
all right. Good night. My name is Kemisha Waugh, and my group members are Renee, Georgette, and Shauna. Yeah, and we picked the 2-minute motivational speech by
By, by?
and
I didn't hear that. By, after by, I didn't hear anything else.
by party
I'm not hearing anything. I'm not sure what's happening. And I thought this would have been very easy. Georgia, her mic is
and
breaking up. I didn't hear anything from you. You said bye. I didn't hear anything after that. Georgia, what's happening with your group? You're normally on the ball. What's happening?
hello.
I am still here. And we're waiting on you. You seem to have connectivity issues.
All right, we picked by party, and the speech was a motivational speech towards the graduates, and he was saying some words to them never to give up.
All right, thanks. Georgette, talk to me. What other part is there in the group? Or she's not there. She's off. Not hearing anything else.
Hi, so sir, I'm supposed to give the projection part for our speech. So the projection was valid around. It was a very good speech. It was clear. The speaker was strong on his voice, especially when we're talking about the belief that the students should have, that's the graduating class, which is his audience, his immediate audience that he's presenting to. Projection basically helps to hold the attention of the audience, and it helps to bring the message across better and clearer. It also boosts the speaker confidence. We could hear in his speech how confident he was when he was presenting to his immediate his graduates. So that's the projection part. We should have two more of our group members speaking about the other two P's, which would have been Dervet and Georgette.
Georgette is on.
Sir, I'm back.
Okay.
It wasn't me for but anyways, so sir, I'm presenting for Natalia and myself. Again, as I said, Natalia is not here because of unforeseen circumstances. So in the speech, Natalia got the pitch, and in the speech, Martin Luther King spoke with high and low frequency. In the low part, he gave the three topics in which he wanted to speak about, the three life objectives that you should carry on with. Upon giving those objectives, he increases his volume by emphasizing on how they should attain it. Say, for example, he said, if you can't be a tree, then you be a bush. If you can't be the sun, then you be a star, which means that he's emphasizing to say that it doesn't matter where you are on life's journey, whatever you are, be the best that you can be. So the pitch was high and low, and the high stand for the enthusiasm, the exaggerating to show that you need to do this, be the best that you can be. And also the last, within the last scenario, he also mentioned that whatever you are doing, you should keep moving. It means that no matter what the circumstance is, no matter what you're going through, you should keep moving. As long as you keep moving, then there will always be progress. As long as you are moving, then there will always be upliftment. So even if it is and move from that bush and go.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Anything else from the group?
As Shazel
Yes,
gone,
sir. The pace was relatively slow, but you could see that the audience understood what Martin Luther King was saying, and you can see that they appreciate what was being said.
Are you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I want for you guys to take when I give you any presentation very seriously. I don't get the sense that this was done or how it ought to be done. So that's one. Remember, you're a second year students now, and you'd have gone through the process, the rigors of first year, and would understand how to do a presentation, a proper presentation. All right, you guys seem to be all over the place. I have to be calling on people to actually talk. These are things that you should have worked out among yourselves, the logistics of the presentation, who goes first, who goes second, who goes third. And it's always important that the first speaker, the person who begins speaking on behalf of the group, is actually your strongest speaker. Usually start with the strongest speaker, usually close with the strongest speaker. All right, so ensure that there's some amount of synergy among the group members. Another thing too, please remember that one of the things that you should try to get rid of is what are called voice fillers, and we're not there yet, but it's something that you have to become more conscious of as public speakers. So in your utterances, you don't need to be saying a million times, all right? You try to not say or use any other voice fillers, all right? If it is that you don't have something to say, you just don't say anything, all right? I'm a little bit underwhelmed with this group. I was expecting a little bit more in terms of the presentation. Junior Rumble, I'm not sure if you're a part of that group.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
All right, go ahead for me. You and your group.
All right. Let me see if I can share screen. All right. Good night, everyone. All right. So in today's speech, we will be looking at Obama's keynote speech, and the group members for tonight would be Kerry Ann Brown, Lashawna Brown, Carlene Wilson, Shamaya. Shamaya's name is not on this. We'll edit that. And myself. So let's see if we can get a little sound in from the video. One moment, please.
You make us all proud. On behalf of the great state of Illinois, crossroads of a nation, Land of Lincoln, let me express my deepest gratitude for the privilege of addressing this convention. Tonight is a particular honor for me because, let's face it, my presence on this stage is pretty unlikely. My father was a foreign student, born and raised in a small village in Kenya. He grew up herding goats, went to school in a tin roof shack. His father, my grandfather, was a cook, a domestic servant to the British. But my grandfather had larger dreams for his son. Through hard work and perseverance, my father got a scholarship to study in a magical place, America, that shone as a beacon of freedom and opportunity to so many who had come before. While studying here, my father met my mother. She was born in a town on the other side of the world, in Kansas. Her father worked on oil rigs and farms through most of the Depression. The day after Pearl Harbor, my grandfather signed up for duty, joined Patton's army, marched across Europe. Back home, my grandmother raised a baby and went to work on a bomber assembly line. After the war, they studied on the GI Bill, bought a house through FHA, and later moved west, all the way to Hawaii in search of opportunity. And they too had big dreams for their daughter.
All right, so due to the length of the video, we will just stop here for now and we will get into it. All right, so we will have Shamaya reading. Shamaya, you can go ahead.
The purpose of the speech by Mr. Barack Obama that was done in 2004 was to inform, motivate, and encourage the audience to stand strong, to be confident and value themselves and their dreams. The speech was also aiming to encourage the audience to make good decisions in their home and work lives, and as a people to build back their country and to make it great again. The main goal of the speech was to provide enlightenment regarding the future of the United States of America at the Democratic National Convention.
Mishana?
The speech was aimed at the audience, which comprised of members of the Democratic National Congress, the media, and well-thinking citizens of America. The speaker successfully engaged the audience as they were responding positively to the message that was being conveyed. Factors that triggered the speech. The factors that triggered the speech were problems that the country was undergoing, issues through education, unemployment, and poverty.
Okay.
The 4 Ps were utilized effectively and promoted undivided attention from the audience. It also allowed a clear delivery of the speech, and the goal of the speaker was accomplished based on the response of the audience. Mr. Obama commanded the subject matter, his word choice, the tone of his voice, body language, and ability to make direct eye contact with the audience. He controlled the pitch and tone of his voice, which helps to control the emotional mood of the presentation. This prevented him from losing the attention of the audience. Mr. Obama was meticulously prepared to deliver his speech as he inputted periods and pauses while bringing across his message so the listeners could absorb what was being said. Thank you.
All right, so we'll have Carlene giving a short rundown, a summary of what we just covered. Carlene.
All right, so basically, as my group member said, Obama was mainly speaking of his background you know, just to motivate the people that you know, you don't have to be rich to excel in life. And if you can see when he was speaking, and you know, he was giving his story, and you could see the you know, the different pitch and pauses, and how he project his voice so that persons could you know, understand, person could hear him, how hear him, because as I can see, the crowd would have cheered for him. In the in the in the in the in the introduction, you'd have seen how he some introduced, saying thank you to so and so on, and making his pauses so that the crowd could you know, applaud and so on, right? And to each time that he's giving the story, you can see, like, you know, it's like he give his story um in a different voice, like a different tone, like, you know, it's basically his voice acted out what um he was saying. So our group member um chose that video because we identify all the 4 Ps. All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. So a few things were off. So first of all, it's a good speech, and it's one of the better speeches in terms of looking for all the 4 Ps. However, while the 4 Ps were mentioned, specific examples were not shown. For example, if you felt, you said that, and I'm talking when persons in the group mentioned that there were good moments of pauses and so forth, but none were shown. In terms of actual examples, also in terms of the purpose of the speech, the purpose of the speech really is to inspire people to vote for the Democratic Party. That's really the purpose of the speech. It's a keynote address at the Democratic National Convention. A convention of this nature is really to inspire voters, not just those who are at the convention, but those who are also watching, well-thinking Americans, as people would say, to vote. So the audience therefore would be potential voters. So persons who are there, but it's more for potential voters. Something you learn about audience, you have what are called primary audience, and you have what are called secondary audience, and even tertiary audience. I like the organization of the presentation, and that there was some amount of sequencing. However, the last speaker seemed to have been freelancing, quote unquote. So it wasn't a closing, it was really a repeat of what was said before. And a closing, a conclusion, quote unquote, should really summarize what was said. So just to remind the audience, okay, so we focus on this particular video because X and Y, and this and this and this and this. All right, so next time around, just remember to just be a little bit more tidy in terms of, well, if there's a next time around. And you are asked to select these particular public speeches because you need to understand and look at and hear very good orators, how they organize their speeches, how they use the 4 Ps to actually accomplish their purpose. Also in terms of how even the audience reacts. All right. So you're being given these particular tasks because these tasks are to help you become better public speakers and learn how to even organize a speech. All right, so thanks much. Let's go from the other end. Why my mouse is not moving? Let's go from the other end. Sojel White, I'm not sure if you presented already.
Yes, sir, I did.
All right, so Samoy Shea, go ahead for me. You and your group.
Sir, my group just presents.
Okay. Patricia Williams.
Sir, good night. Luke is going to share the video.
Okay, all right.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Luke Harris here. I'm gonna share a video. The class speaker was Denzel Washington, and in this video, he will be addressing some graduates from what appears to be a college, and this speech is one which is aimed in motivating these graduates. My group members are Jerome Rowe, Patricia Williams, and Dorian Harper. So I'll now share the video, sir. It's a bit more longer than the 2 minutes that you requested. However, we will
Pause at 2 minutes.
Yes, sir. Here.
Starting to really make it as an actor, I came in, I talked to my mother. I said, Ma, did you think that this was gonna happen? I'd be so big and I'll be able to take care of everybody and I can do this and I can do that and I can. She said, boy, stop it right there, stop it right there, stop it right there. He said, if you only knew how many people that have been praying for you, how many prayer groups she put together, how many prayer cloths she gave me, how many times she splashed me with holy water to save my sorry behind her. She said it. She said, oh, you did it by yourself? I tell you what you can do by yourself. You can go outside, get a mop and a bucket and wash them windows. You can do that by yourself. Superstar. So I'm saying that to say I want to congratulate all the parents and friends and family and aunties and uncles and grandmothers and grandfathers and teachers and friends and enemies, all the people that helped you to get where you are today. Congratulations to you all. I'm gonna tell about 2-3 stories. I'm gonna keep it real short. I remember my graduation, speaker got up there, went on forever, blah, 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 blah. So I'm gonna keep it short. Number 1, put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that. It's a gift. 40 years ago, March 27th, 1975, it was 40 years ago, just this past March, I was flunking out of college. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I hope none of you can relate.
Okay, sir. So we'll pause here. I'll now hand over to Miss Williams.
Good night, everyone. The purpose of the speech, the purpose of the speech is to recognize and celebrate the achievements of the graduating class, as well as motivating the graduates in their future endeavor and whatever fields that they may venture in. As it relates to the audience are the receivers. In the video, Mr. Denzel Washington had a friendly group of listeners from different races, cultures, and gender who are mostly graduates. They have become his audience. The primary audience basically are the graduates who is communicating with, while the secondary audience are the visitors at the ceremony, for example, families and friends. Moving on to factors that trigger the speech are motivation, accomplishment, congratulations, and inspiration. I'll turn over back to Luke.
Yes, we're listening.
Yes, sir. So throughout the video, the 4 Ps were expressed, sir. I just elaborate on the pause as you see where he would have gone to explain or give the audience his story, and he would have mentioned one, and he can see where he pays himself there at that point, sir, and also have some amount of pauses where he say, put God first. So at that point, you want to drive the point home that it is lodged in the heads of the graduates, and whatever they are doing, they must always remember to put God first, sir. The other part of the task was as organization. And you can see where his speech was organized. He wasn't all over the place. It was arranged in the way that he planned on delivering, and that was done. Sorry, there was not more time, so I could show the entire video so you can actually see his transition from one stage to another, sir. That's it, I should think.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. And I must commend Patricia that how many courses have I taught you, Patricia?
All the courses, sir. I think it was
Come
basically
one,
3.
come two,
Right,
right, and this is
right.
right. And you, among other students, you have always delivered. I'm very, I've always watched you. You have morphed and grown and grown and grown and grown. So kudos to you. All right. I like the way, well, I think by now people are able to kind of tweak their presentation based on what I said before. So so of course it has become quite refined by the time I got to you guys.
Sir, good evening. I must
Good evening.
apologize to you and my group members. I was supposed to share the presentation, but I just got home.
All right, we'll get which you have it now?
Yes,
Can
sir,
share?
I have it right now, sir.
All right, so when I finish commenting on the presenters earlier, who just presented, so you can share, all right?
Okay,
Let me
sir.
let me just finish commenting. So yes, I was saying that I like the direction in terms of the assessment, in terms of the primary audience, secondary audience, and as I said before, because you guys listened to my feedback based on the previous groups, you were able to kind of refine what you said. I think in terms of the factors or the inspiration, part of one of the main factors is that he was invited. So he would have an invitation would have been extended to Denzel Washington, and then he would come and speak. So that's one of the major or main factors. All right, yeah, I'm doing a million things while I'm teaching you guys. All right, so the person who spoke earlier, Oran.
Yes.
All right, go ahead for me. So yes, go ahead for me.
All right, sir. Good evening again, everyone. I'm not sure how much I've missed, but this is our presentation from me, Oren Walters, Sarita Wangsu, Carrie Ann Daly, and Lysain Parks. All right, so our video that we chose is I Have a Dream by Dr. Martin Luther King.
Junior,
sorry. I'll play this.
Even though we face difficulties
we are.
of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. That one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners, will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood? I have a dream.
All right, so that's the speech by Dr. King. So the purpose of this speech is to expose the American public to the injustice and racial inequality and to persuade them to stop discriminating on the basis of race. The trigger is a racial injustice that rampant in the United States. So that's what triggered Martin Luther King to deliver this speech. All right, so he was speaking, his targeted audience was anyone who is seeking to establish equality for the oppressed in America. His main point expressed, there will be a time of racial equality. So that part of his speech where he said that I have a dream that one day the son of the slave owner and the son of a slave will share a table. So the first piece of Dr. King's speech are, so my colleagues and I, we choose each topic. First one is pace.
So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. began his speech at a slow pace as he tries to connect to the audience and establish a common ground with them. His pace then grew slowly as he felt that he was connected to the audience strategically. After he got deep into the speech, his pace then became moderate and therefore allowed for his audience to hear the message that was conveyed. The audience could also absorb what was said during the speech.
Other one is pitch. Right. So Dr. King varies his volume in his speech, raising his pitch and lowering it to create emphasis and emotional impact on the audience. Pauses. Listen here.
Yes, I believe I can comment. I'm driving, but I can comment. I hope you're hearing me.
Am I hearing?
Good night, everyone. Pauses. Dr. King uses pauses quite frequently, and I believe that's one of his strongest speaking elements. He uses pauses for several reasons, because what I noted in his speech was that he was speaking extemporaneously. He wasn't speaking from a written speech then. So he will use his pauses for one to think. If you notice, in his eyes, he was thinking, as well as he uses his pauses so that after speaking each sentence, he would allow the audience, allow his point to sink into the minds of the audience. And therefore that is very effective.
All right, our other point is projection. All right, so So as I said, projection is not about how loudly one speak, but the power and authority of the speakers, which Dr. King demonstrated in his I Have a Dream speech. His voice was powerful and clear. With this, he commanded the respect of the heart of his audience. And that's it for our 4Ps on our presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any comments, queries, feedback from persons before I come in? Any comments? No one has a comment? Why are we so quiet? Why are we so quiet? All right. So I like the presentation. I like the fact that can you put it back? I'm not sure why you stopped sharing because once I'm still commenting, once I'm not finished with the group, the presentation should still be there if there is a presentation. So I like the fact that the presentation was seemingly well put together, and I get the impression that the group members worked together and they understood the speech. I especially love the explanation of the 4Ps, and you are persons who spoke about the 4Ps were right on the ball in terms of especially the pauses. He paused many times to think and also to allow his words to linger, just to linger, so that the audience members can reflect, can absorb, can think about what is being said. My only criticism is that you could have got a much better quality video of that speech. There are so many high definition versions of that video so that we could clearly hear it. I think I gave all the groups, apparently the time was too short, 2 minutes. So some of you are not able to get to the quote. Didn't I say 2 to 3 minutes? Did I just chop it at 2?
2 minutes. 2 minutes, you said, sir. So we're trying to fall within that time.
Right. So that's on me. That's my bad. So I think this group did a really good job in terms of understanding the speech and explaining how the writer, whether consciously or unconsciously, was able to deliver a speech of this nature. Also, to remember that this speech was done during the context of the civil rights movement, when there are still many systemic racial issues. I think the Jim Crow era was, I think it was still very close to the Jim Crow era, and I think this is also about the time the Voting Rights Act in America came to the fore. So there are so many factors which I don't think I heard about the various factors that would have inspired, or well, it probably said something, but it wasn't a fulsome explanation that gave us a big picture of what would have inspired this particular speech. And what you have to understand as students who are learning public speaking, as I said before, that my job is not just to get you to sound like you're on television, because you can enunciate as well as you can, but your speech is not properly organized and you're actually not saying anything. So it's for you to look at these speeches, listen to them, and be inspired and understand how to use the 4Ps to deliver. And you can stop sharing now. I just posted something, the homework in the WhatsApp group, where each person will have to do his or her own motivational speech. It's graded, and no more than 3 minutes, and I am deliberately listening for the 4Ps, how they are used. And remember now, when you're doing a speech, nobody deliberately says, okay, I'm going to pause here. You know, speakers don't really do that. Sometimes you do. Well, for example, is in the form of a debate, you know, you will say, okay, this is where I'm going to pause. But oftentimes it's, you know, it's off the cuff. It's off the cuff. It's not something that you consciously do. When I'm going to do any kind of public speech, I don't say, okay, I'm going to project this way or don't project this way. Sometimes it comes very natural because the job I do, I'm always talking or publicly speaking. All right, so that's the homework. Lishana Brown, did your group present? I don't remember if your group present.
Sir,
Yes.
one question. Is it that we should
Go ahead with the question and then the other person. Go ahead with the question.
Okay. In regards to the assignment that you just posted, is it that we'll be writing our own speech?
Your own.
Okay.
So you now have to create the context. Who are you inspiring? Is it that you, for example, you are the guest speaker at your high school graduation, at your primary school graduation, even your basic school, well, not basic school, I guess they wouldn't do that. Primary school or high school graduation, are you speaking to, for example, some at-risk youth? Are you speaking to prisoners? Are the prisoners men? Are the prisoners women? Are they black? Are they white? Where do they live? What are their circumstances? And how are you using all of that to inform what you say to them and how you say it to them? So your job now is to motivate, is to inspire. If you notice too many motivational speeches and even inspirational speeches, the more contemporary ones, they usually have some music in the background because it helps to package the speech. All right, so that's your job. Your job is to now inspire. Your job is to now motivate. So when I watch it, I should feel inspired. I should feel motivated. And when you're going to play it in class, how do your classmates feel about it? So let's look at the rubric. Let me just bring it up on my screen. I'll just give you, and this is really the rubric we're going to use for almost all our speeches. Where am I? Am I here? I think so. So introduction. An introduction doesn't mean that you're going to say, oh, this is my introduction. Or, hi, my name is Robin Clark. That's not necessarily what I mean by introduction. The content, as it says, one major issue. In your case, it's not really one major issue that you're looking at. You're looking, what exactly are you using? Are you telling stories? Are you, for example, telling them 2 stories as a way to inspire them? What exactly are you going to use to be the substance of your speech? Delivery now, we're focusing primarily on the 4 P's for delivery. And conclusion, how do you end the speech? The closure. And of course, overall means that the entire speech as it is packaged in terms of production, in terms of beginning, end, middle, all of that. It's a somewhat of a speech and a production. So that, because sometimes when you do very good work, I actually shared with the other lecturers and they were like, Mr. Clark, you know, sometimes they want me to come and do guest lectures because they're like, oh, I want to get my students to do this and do that. And I say to them, trust me, most of the times my students they just listen to my voice, know I'm miserable. I know that if they don't do good work, I'm going to cuss, so they do good work. All right, so it's really now for you to, and remember, you have to imagine this. Or you can actually give a motivational speech to your 5-year-old or 10-year-old or 12-year-old self. So what would be a speech you would give yourself? So I'm 38 now. What kind of speech would I give myself at age 15? What would I say to 15-year-old Robin? I'm not saying that that's exactly how you have to do it. I'm just, suggesting different ways of how you can harness the feeling of motivation. Any questions, queries, concerns?
So, sir, basically, you're saying that we should write a motivational speak with all of these 5 steps, containing all of these 5 steps.
These are not steps. Are you looking at the rubric carefully? These are not steps. These are
Sir,
what
maybe I
I'm
used the
using.
wrong word.
You're
Rubric.
using the wrong word. These are the things that you're being graded for.
Okay.
So these are not steps. These are the things that you're graded for. How do you begin your motivational speech? How do you begin? Then when you get to the middle, or what is the overall content? Are you, for example, using 2 stories, 3 stories? What exactly are you using? Are you going to use a metaphor? So you use the metaphor at the beginning. Are you going to use repetition, like repeat a line? Are you going to use call and response, which is very much Caribbean? And I don't want to, you see, I'm trying to be very hesitant because I'm trying not to say too much because I want to see what you produce. I really want to see what you produce. And
So
I
when
know
is this due?
Monday.
Okay, sir.
So it gives you a lot of time to do some work over the weekend. All right. Anyone else has any question? Think it's above your head or too difficult, or think it's manageable, or
It look rough, but can give it a try, sir.
how rough is it? All right, say it looks rough. That's
Yeah.
that's how we are phrasing it. Why do you say it looks rough, Oran?
Yes.
Sir, no matter mark with especially me.
So you said this will be graded?
Yes, it is.
Sir,
Yes.
is it just audio or video?
It's more audio, but if you can put video as well, but it's more audio because I'm listening to the speaking voice.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's more audio
Sir.
than video.
Lovely,
Yes.
lovely.
Confirm, I said 2 minutes.
3, up to 3 minutes.
Okay.
Sir, must put it on our YouTube.
Yes, so you have to, so you put it on your YouTube channel and then you share the link.
Okay, sir.
Yes. And I know you have it in you guys. Remember, it's a public speaking course, so you have to do a lot of talking, a lot of public speaking. So you notice you don't come here and you take a lot of notes, and we're not into that. You're not going to take a lot of notes and all of that. All right, let's take a 5-minute break. I need to call a colleague because there's an event that they want me to MC, be master of ceremony for, and I need to confirm or not confirm for them. So let's take a 5 minutes break, and then we come back. And I think we're going to head to tongue twisters because I've been meaning to introduce you to tongue twisters, and we're yet to do it. All right, 5 minutes. All right. Let me, I think I shared the, did I share the tongue twisters in the group? Let me just check my notes. Did that. I'm just checking my notes. Give me one sec. Caring for sight reading. All right, hold on. I don't think I shared this in the WhatsApp group. There's a sight reading. Oh yes, and there's an example I wanted to share with you guys too about oral communication, course delivery. Is this it? Oh yes, just a few recap so that you are mindful of understanding pace. All right. So this is just a brief recap of some of the concepts. Very short videos that will remind us, especially in light of the homework.
Do you think you speak too fast, too slow, or just right? When it comes to public speaking, you'll want to talk at a conversational pace. This rate of speech typically ranges from around 140 to 170 words per minute. If you speak much slower than 140 words per minute, you're probably not speaking fast enough for your audience. You might be putting them to sleep. However, if you speak much faster than 170 words per minute, you could be talking too fast. An audience could have a hard time understanding you. You also need to vary your pace. Sometimes you'll want to speak more quickly to demonstrate urgency or excitement, and other times you'll want to slow down or pause for dramatic effect. To check your pace, record yourself. Listen to the playback. A recording not only lets you time your speech, but it also lets you evaluate how well you vary your pace within the conversational range. Give it a try.
All right, so that was speaking to pace, and there's another example, one of my favorite that I used to listen to. Let me just see if this is the example. Right. All right, let's just see if we can actually, well, let's see if we can actually hear anything that this person is saying. All right.
One where he hits 9 syllables per second.
Now look, everybody know that when I step up in the building and I'm doing what I'm doing, I'll be crowding up the block. Coming up and killing them, fucking up the building, get it to the bar, buy a couple bottles of Ciroc, bottles of the Tron, bottles of the Grand Marnier, couple bottles of the Yak, bottles of the Rose, throw another couple shots back.
And we kick off our list with a quick honourable mention for one of Busta's great guest verses. As you can tell, this wasn't fast enough to make the top 10, but I definitely thought I should acknowledge it, hence why it's included here. And at number 11, for our second honourable mention, we have the Welcome to My Hood remix, where he hits 9 syllables per second, and that is on verse 3.
Everybody know what happened when you see me coming. I'll be hurdling and got you regurgitating your
All right, are you able to understand what he's saying or hear what he's saying?
Not at all, sir.
When I was a teenager, he was one of my favorite rappers. I actually used to write down his lyrics just to understand it and was able to. You have to practice over and over in order to get it.
I don't
And
even understand when Bounty Killers when do. I don't even know one of Bounty Killers song because I don't understand him either.
so the pace is a bit too fast. Let's look at another example, which is a good example of pauses and pace. And this is from a prime minister, not ours. Not saying that ours can't do it, but it's not from our prime minister.
Whenever or wherever a few seek to threaten those who look, dress, or pray differently, many others stand up and say, no, not here, not in our community, not to our neighbors. Time after time, when intolerance rears its ugly head, Canadians rise up to reject it. We prove clearly and unflinchingly that we are better than that. I can share with you a few recent examples. One day after the terrible attacks in Paris, a mosque in Peterborough, Ontario was set on fire, a suspected hate crime. In response, the community rallied and raised more than $110,000 in 2 days to help the Muslim community rebuild. United in faith, members of local Christian and Jewish communities literally opened their doors to give their Muslim neighbors a place to pray. Those are Canadian values.
Today is a day of celebration, a day to celebrate all the hard work that got you to this moment. Today is a day of thanks, a day to thank all the people who helped you get here, the people who taught you and nurtured you, cheered you on, and dried you tears. Because today marks the end of one era of your life and the beginning of something new. A commencement address is meant to be a dance between youth and wisdom. You provide the youth. Someone comes up here to be the voice of wisdom. That's supposed to be me. You will almost certain face more and deeper adversity. There's loss of opportunity, the job that doesn't work out, the illness or crime which changes everything in an instant. There's loss of dignity, the sharp sting of prejudice when it happens. There's loss of love, the broken relationships that can't be repaired. And sometimes there's loss of life itself.
All right, so those are very good examples of good speaking pace, and even in terms of pauses. I'm sure you saw that. I'm going to share in the WhatsApp group a tongue twister exercise that I want you to, you gotta read it. I just want for you to go through it on your own, and then we're going to see how quickly we can actually read it. Are you seeing it in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Who's ready to go first? And you're going to say it as fast, you're going to say it as quickly and as clearly as you can. Anybody's ready?
So I'm going to try, sir. My head full of cold, but I'm going to try.
You're brave. You're the first one.
Sweet, sweet sheep sleeps only, sunny and shiny sheets. 3 free shows. Pre-shung silk shirts. Good blood, bad blood. Unique New York. Red leather, yellow leather. The six sheep sick. Mrs. Smith Fisher's shop. Surely Sylvia swims, shrink Sammy, surprise. Someone should show Sylvia some strokes so she shall not sink. A three-toed lover she told who lived up in a tree. He was a two-toed, three-toed, but a three-toed, toed. She was she. She two-toed, three-toed, tried to win the three-toed she toad's heart. But the two-toed, three-toed tried in vain. He couldn't please her within. Whim. He couldn't please her whim. From her three-toed burrow with the three-toed power, she toed, vetoed him.
All right, you need a whole heap of practice. Anybody else wants to try? She was brave.
Sweet sheep sleep soundly on shiny sheets. Clothes, pre-shrunk silk shirts.
Do you have a fan in the you have sound as if you have a fan blowing in the
I'm sorry, sir. All right. Sweet sheep sleeps only on shiny sheets. 3 free chose, pre-shrunk silk shirts, good blood, bad blood, unique New York, red leather, yellow leather, the sixth sheep six. Mrs. Smith fish saw shop. Surely Sylvia swims. Shrek Sammy surprise. Someone show Sylvia some strokes, so she shall not sink. A three-toed love at sea toad who lived up a tree. He was a two-toed, three-toed, but a three-toed toad was she. The two-toed, three-toed tried to win the three-toed, she toad's heart. For the two-toed, three-toed loved the ground, the three-toed, trod, but the two-toed, three-toed tried in vain, he could please her whim. From the heart toad bower with her three-toed power, the she-toed vetoed him.
All right, not bad. Still need some exercise. Who is next? Gentlemen, why are you running? The ladies are. I haven't heard any male voice yet. Seems as if I need to call a name. This is for D. Anybody else wants to volunteer without me calling a name? Go ahead, Junior. I'm almost sure I saw you raise your hand. Mr. Junior, are you there?
No, not at all. Never raise your hand, but let me try. Sweet sheep sleep soundly on shiny sheet. Uh, Tree free for Let me try again, sir.
Did you read it through? Did you read it through before?
Yes, yes, but they didn't laugh, so
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna read it through, sir.
Yes, you will, man. It's a after a while it becomes natural. It
Right,
sharpens your diction.
let me go again. Sweet sheep sleep soundly on shiny sheets. 3 free throws. Pre-shrunk silk shirts. Good blood, bad blood. Unit New York. Reed leather. Yellow leather. The sixth.
Is it leather or leather?
Leather. The sixth sick sixth sheep's sick. Mrs. Smith's fish sauce shop. Shirley Sylvia swims. Shrieked Sammy, surprised. Someone should show Sylvia some strokes so she shall not sink. A tree-toad loved a she-toad who lived up in a tree. He was a two-toed tree-toad, but a tree-toad toad was she. The two-toed tree-toad tree tried to win the tree-toad she-toad's heart. For the two-toed tree-toad loved the ground the tree-toad trod. But the two-toed tree-toad tried in vain. He couldn't please her whim. From her tree-toad bower with her tree-toad power, the she-toad vetoed him.
All right, so you remember it says as quickly and as clearly as you can. So you have to be going very quickly. All right, let's listen to a little about the importance of tongue twisters. And at first, you know, it's always seemingly comical, but if you are able to master it, it improves your articulation and your diction. Let's hear.
Red leather, yellow leather, red lorry, yellow lorry.
Tongue twisters are great articulation and brain exercises. They help to coordinate your muscles of articulation and your breath. Okay, start slowly and then gradually speed them up until you can say them fast 3 times in a row. This one targets bilabials, both lips.
Purple, paper, people. Purple, paper, people.
This one is a complex combination of post-alveolar, lateral, labial, and palatal. Divide them into manageable sections first before attempting to string them all together.
Red leather, yellow leather, red lorry, red welly, yellow welly. Red leather, red lorry, red welly, yellow welly.
This one targets post-alveolar fricatives, sh, and affricates, ch.
Shy, Sheena Church, cautiously shushed, brash, chatty Sean Bishop during the speech on religious friction. Shy Sheena Church cautiously shushed, brash, chatty Sean Bishop during the speech on religious friction.
So what you realize, people, as they said before, is that you say it slowly, and you usually say it slowly for as long as you want, providing that you're pronouncing the words correctly, and then you speed it up. All right, it's very, very, especially persons who have like an accent or a lisp. This is something that really helps you to pronounce your words. All right. The last thing we're going to do is in relation to the homework. And I have something I want to share with you. Let me just see if I find it. No. Is it me or is this thing low? Oh.
Talked about how to organize a presentation, intro, body, conclusion, and in the body we talked about ways to structure your main points. Some of the ways were more informative, like the chronological order or the topical order. I mentioned in that video the persuasive style of organizing your main points, problem, solution, benefit. And it deserves a little bit of unpacking. So let's go to the computer and look at some examples to get a better handle on this.
And this is more in relation to the motivational speech that is considered a persuasive speech, that these are just recommendations of how you can organize that particular speech.
I'd like to start by comparing persuasive presentations to informative presentations, which are meant to share information or teach the listeners something. If you've ever sat in on a how-to speech or watched a how-to video, well, that's informative. In contrast, persuasive presentations are meant to convince listeners. You're literally trying to move their opinion or even their behavior from point A to point B. So at the end of your presentation, you want your listeners to do something or think something differently than what they did at the beginning. They're organized much the same way as informative presentations. They have an introduction, a body, and conclusion, but there are some changes in each of these sections. In the introduction, you're going to have your 4 essential main parts that I've talked about in other videos. Just like an informative presentation, you have an attention grabber where you start off with that nice story or a few statistics or some rhetorical questions to get the ball rolling. Number 2, you tell your audience directly what's in it for them. Tell them why they should listen to your message, what they're going to gain by listening to it by the end. The third and the fourth point are different than they are in an informative presentation. The main point of the thesis in an informative presentation is going to be pretty straightforward about what you're saying. In a persuasive presentation, you're going to be straightforward, but you're going to give an argument. You're not just going to tell them something or teach them something.
Well, I'm not there yet. It's more motivational because we're going to look at the organization of an informative speech, of a persuasive speech. This is supposed to be more motivational. I thought that was the clip because I showed this guys last year during the motivational speech. Yeah, there it is.
Hi, my name is Austin Giuliano. I'm a keynote speaker and I work on the board of TEDx. And today I want to talk to you about...
All right, it's a little bit what I'd call overinflated. We have a few minutes. Let's just listen. Let me first of all share the link in the chat, in the WhatsApp group, so that you can watch it on your own. And we are actually going to look at all the different types of speeches, the expository, the persuasive. Persons who have done communication 1 would have been taught how to write, for example, an outline. Am I correct? We were taught how you were exposed to how to write an outline, right? And then you, in this instance, in COM1, you use the outline to write the essay, but in this one, you're using the outline to write the speech. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And you're going to actually have to go back to the whole APA style and all of that in terms of how the outline is organized, because the outline is going to be graded on its own and the speech is going to be graded separately. All right. So we're moving by next week now. By next week, we're going to start looking at the different types of speeches and all of that and how we organize speeches. All right. And I'm going to speak a little bit more about your mid-semester and the different graded activities by the next class. I actually got the course delivery plan today from the course leader. So I'll speak about it a little bit more. I'll speak about it in depth in our next class because I got it late today. All right. Any question, comments, queries before we end class? Remember the tongue twisters. They're very, very good in terms of helping you, in terms of your articulation. we'll do some of that activity throughout the course. Any question, comments, queries? One last question. Anybody works in law enforcement in the class? Well, let me not ask a question. What is your take on the whole saga with the controversial pastor who died in an accident, in addition to the police officer? We have
Sir,
a
I
minute.
think that is not real.
What do you mean by it's not real?
Why not real?
Well, to me, I think the story not adding up. Well, that is just my take on the issue.
Meaning that he was killed, or is that what you're saying? I'm not sure. I'm just trying to find out what
Sir,
you...
to be honest, I don't know if that's if he actually died for real. I don't know.
Okay.
I would have to actually see for myself to believe that.
He is dead. The ambulance that picked him up, they are from my region. So yeah, the guys there confirm it. That is him, and he's...
Is there any merit to the speculation that he was probably killed? Let me not say murdered, killed.
There are rumors.
No,
saying
sir.
yes, he was, but
No.
I believe it's an accident. I think they were in a hurry to reach court.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, so I believe it's a genuine accident.
Okay, all right. All right, guys, I'll see you on Wednesday. Stay safe.
All right.
Okay, sir, thanks.